And I was like, no, you just want to be a trucker because he a trucker. You just want to be up in his face. You want to live in his skin so bad. But that's not what it was. I ended up realizing, like, I love this. I'm just going to do some test footage. I really want to see which one of these earrings, because I love this cute little dainty earring, but I feel like this one shows. I'm really sitting here trying to figure out if I made a good choice by wearing these studs instead of the hoop earrings. What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ebony. Okay, thank you. So today I'm going to be doing a video telling y'all about how I became a trucker. I've been posting a lot more on my Instagram and on my Facebook about trucking in general, and it's been getting crazy feedback. Like I said, it's been doing really good. It's been getting really good feedback, and I've found that people are way more interested in the trucking things than I knew. So today I'm going to be doing a video on how I got into trucking, how I became a trucker. Y'all have a lot of questions about it, so this video is going to be strictly based on how I became a trucker. I'm going to do a Q&A video that answers some of the other questions, like do I touch freight and stuff like that, in a different video. First things first, I'm going to start by telling y'all a little bit about my background as far as the career goes. So I graduated high school in 2011. I went straight to college. I got my bachelor's degree in communications. After that, during that, really, even during high school, I was a waitress. I was waiting tables at many different restaurants. Y'all probably see me out here in these streets, okay? But I was waiting tables and I was doing that. It was great money. It was paying my bills while I was in college. It was paying my bills even after college, and it was lit. After I graduated, I wanted to do something more, so I ended up moving to Houston with my best friend. And when we went there, we thought we were going to be using our degrees and getting new jobs and working in corporate America and doing all of that. It didn't happen that way. I was still waiting tables in Houston, and even though I was working some corporate jobs, it wasn't really fulfilling me. I wasn't really feeling happy. So I always kind of went back to serving because I loved the high pace. I loved how quick everything was. I loved how I got to interact with people. It was just, I don't know, it just worked for me, and I just liked it. So I would always kind of go back to serving. When my mom passed in 2017, I ended up moving back to my hometown. Boo. I wonder if I could put a boo noise in here. Boo. Okay, so I ended up moving back to my hometown, and I was working at Blue Cross Blue Shield, which was like, I wouldn't say it was my favorite because I hated it there too, but it was the most stable. It was the most comfortable. My friend Deb sat behind me. It was lit. Okay, so that was really the only thing that I liked about it. That's what I mean when I say it was lit. So the job itself, I hated, but I was working there, and I was also waiting tables at night. Then I started a business. It's a little bit of a much, but I started a business and while I was at Blue Cross Blue Shield, and so then I stopped waiting tables. Well, when I started dating my man, I actually went back to waiting tables because I knew that I was going to be moving, and I wanted to have just as much money as possible. So I was like stacking like crazy at this time because I knew I was going to be leaving my hometown. So eventually it was time for me to move, and so in January of 2020 I moved to Columbus with my boyfriend. Now I transferred my serving job because Blue Cross Blue Shield wouldn't transfer because I wasn't working from home, and it wasn't just going to be like a smooth transition from one place to the other. So when I went to Columbus, I kept my serving job just because I didn't want to not be making money, even though I had stacked a bunch of money. So in Columbus, I was working at Cooper's Hawk bussing. If you haven't ate at Cooper's Hawk, bitch, get in tune, okay? But I was working at Cooper's Hawk, and I hated it there. I loved the Cooper's Hawk in Springfield, but I hated the one in Columbus. Like, I would leave there every day mad, angry. I would be telling my man, like, I hate it here. Like, they don't run it the same. The management is trashy. Like, I was so mad. I hated working there, but it paid the bills. It paid me. That's what it was. So keep in mind, I moved in January of 2020, right? So here we are 2 months later. COVID is starting to get a little buzz. Okay, they talking about it. It could be a big thing. It couldn't be a big thing. We wasn't sure yet. So March 15th, I will never forget. March 15th, my job closed. Okay. So the first time that I really experienced trucking wasn't when my job closed. It was actually when I went to go visit my man, and after I took a flight there, and after that I didn't really want to leave, and so I came out on the road with him and I stayed with him for 2 weeks. And that was my first time that I really got to experience trucking. That was back in October of 2019. And when I went with him on the road, at the time I was just like, oh, okay, like it's whatever, like I see what it is. But I was spending time with him, so it wasn't really like I don't think at all I was paying any kind of attention to the job itself. I just knew that he was working and I was just along for the ride. So here comes March. Fast forward to March, my job was closing, and so I was like, dang, we just moved to Columbus, like I'm gonna be here by myself while he's out on the road, because trucking didn't stop, baby. COVID didn't stop no trucking show. Okay, so I was like, dang, like what do I do? What should I do? And I was like, I don't want to just be here by myself, bored. So I was like, you know what, they sent out an email like, this is what's going on, we're gonna be closed, we're not sure for how long. And when it was a question of how long we were gonna be closed, I was like, oh, I'm definitely going on the road, because I am not gonna be here for weeks on end doing nothing. So I ended up going out on the road with him, and that was when I really was like, okay, I'm looking at what he's doing. He's checking in, he's checking out, he's driving, he's got time restraints like on where he has to be and when he has to be there, and I'm realizing he's telling me more about like, oh, I can only drive this amount of hours. And I was like, whoa, this is way more than I thought it would be, like way more. I was just passenger seat shoddy for the most part. Like I was just passenger seat. I would ride with him. I would never really go to sleep until he went to sleep. I would stay up for hours at a time just in the passenger seat riding with him, and we would be talking, listening to music, catching a vibe, just doing what we do as a couple. So one day, and honestly it was a couple of times that I had noticed it, but I was starting to feel bad, because when he would be tired, because like I said, everything had a deadline. So when he would be tired, I used to be like, dang, I just feel so bad. Like if this was a car, I would take over and drive. I would help him drive so that he can get some sleep. And I remember telling him like, you might as well show me how to drive. I'm joking, but at the time I'm like, I feel bad that you're tired and I can't help. That don't sit right with my spirit, okay? So I was like, you know what, teach me how to drive. And we took it as a joke. It was just like, ha ha ha. The first time that I got over in the driver's seat, I'm gonna try to insert footage here. I have a bunch of trucking videos, but I'm gonna post some of the Snapchats that I did or that he took of me when I was first getting in the truck, like me being like, what is going on, what is this, where is that?
Press it all the way, I ain't gonna go fast. Press the gas a little bit.
And it was a manual, so I had never learned how to shift in a car. I can't drive a stick shift in a car. I drive automatic, and that's what it is. So he's teaching me how to drive in a manual, and the truck is so big. It's like, I think the thoughts of the truck being big and stuff in my head made me a little bit more scared than I really should have been to begin with. But I was like, what's this, what's that? Okay, so he teaching me how to shift, and like it got to a point where what he was doing was he would get on the highway, because I would not used to drive in town. He would get on the highway, and then he would pull over to the side of the road and be like, okay, let's get into high gear, and then after that you can just drive straight. Like you don't have to stop, you don't have to pull over, you don't have to do nothing. You'll just drive in high gear and I can go to sleep. We thought that was kind of how the process was gonna be, but it would be so, like, I guess nerve-wracking to him, like this bitch can't drive. So he used to sit in the passenger seat, but he would not go to sleep. The first time that he went to sleep while I drove, I took a Snapchat of it. We were in Pennsylvania. And I was like, oh my God, this is the first time my man took a nap while I drove. And I was just feeling so proud and so accomplished. And like I said, at the time I wasn't noticing, but I was falling in love with driving this truck. And I used to be resisting it. I used to be like, no, like, you like hair, you like makeup, what are you doing talking about you want to be a trucker? Like, this is not what that is, you know? And of course at this time I still didn't know when my job was going to be opening back up. So I was like, just here for a good time, not a long time. You know? So my job sent me an email saying that it was going to be another while before they open back up. At first they was talking about June or July, and I was just like, it's the question mark for me. I couldn't really deal with the fact of like when are we gonna open back up? Are we gonna open back up? When we open back up, how is it gonna be? Like, I don't know, just the thought of serving with a mask, I don't know, I just didn't really like it. But at this time, like I said, in the back of my mind, I'm falling in love with trucking, but I'm fighting the idea of it. So he took his nap the first time, and I was like feeling so good. I felt so happy, so confident. And that very next day, because at this time he had already started teaching me how to park, because he was like, if you really gonna get your CDLs, you can't just learn how to drive, you got to learn how to park. It's certain maneuvers that you have to learn how to do. The real MVP. At this time, he had started teaching me the alley dog, because I was like, okay, I'm for real. Like, I was telling him, like, okay, I'm serious, I'm really gonna get my CDLs. And I went head first. So he was teaching me how to park. So the very next day after he took his first nap, that's when I parked. I was like, okay, I parked by myself this time, and I'll insert that video. Like, I parked by myself. I was so proud. Yeah, this is my first time parking by myself. My boyfriend is inside the building. He did not help me at all. After that, I was like, okay, yeah, this is for real. This is for real. So before I got my CDLs, my job had sent me an email like, oh, we're going to be opening back up, but it's going to only be limited servers. It's only going to be a limited amount of tables that we can take. And I was just like, I'm so used to having like a 4-table section where I'm making hundreds of dollars in a night. For y'all to be like, we're only opening every other table, it didn't really make sense to me. And at this time, I was like kind of asking my man, like, I knew he made money. Okay, from jump, I knew he made money. But I was like, let me ask a little bit more questions about how much money and what we could do together as a team. And he was like, everybody always says the money is in team, and like, you could solo drive all day long, you could own a truck all day long, but the money is really in having a team driver, because the truck doesn't stop moving. You just drive. So I was like, okay, like, this could work, you know. I had learned how to park, I had learned how to do the shifting. I had been studying for my pre-trip inspection, which is the third thing that you have to know how to do in order to get the CDL. I had been studying so hard. I was watching YouTube videos, and what I did was I recorded voice memos in my phone, and I had them playing in my headphones all day. Hinges should be secure with the seals intact. The mirror and bracket should be securely mounted and not damaged. The fuel tank is secure. The cap is tight with no leaks from the tank or the cap. The steps in the catwalk should be solid, mounted securely, and free of debris. It'll be like walking through, like, you know, mounted securely, and, you know, all of this stuff, it was playing in my ear 24/7. So when I went to take the test, I kind of just repeated what I knew that I would hear in my ear, and that's kind of how I did that part of it. But that's a little bit later that I actually went to go take the test. Yeah, I feel like at this point I was really involved. I was in it, and I was like, I'm serious about this. And I was like, no, you just want to be a trucker because he a trucker. You just want to be up in his face. You want to live in his skin so bad. But that's not what it was. I ended up realizing, like, I love this. And to this day, he'd be like, damn. He'd be like, you're really a truck driver. Like, he'd be like, you make me so proud, because I drive this truck, and that's cool and all. He was like, but you, like, you're really a beast. Like, I do a little something. So yeah, over time I was just like, okay, I realized I had came to acceptance, like, I'm not going back to my job. I'm gonna get my CDLs, and I'm gonna drive trucks with him. And I did just that. Fast forward, I ended up taking my test. I got my CDLs. And when I had my CDL, I was like, okay, I'm going to start team driving with my man with the company that he already drove for. Well, we realized that as a team, they wasn't going to pay enough. It didn't make sense for us to both have a CDL and be on the same truck and not be making enough money for what we felt like we should be making. So, I kind of fell back, and I let my man lead. I said, whatever you want to do, we're going to do it. And he said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to leave here. And I was so nervous, because I was like, oh my goodness, like, I just started driving. Like, I'm going to leave here and go somewhere else. And I was a little bit nervous, but I said, I'm going to let him lead. And he did what he was supposed to do. It just made me feel so safe and so comfortable. So he was like, this is what we're going to do. And he gave me the game plan, and I was like, let's do it. let's do it. So we ended up switching companies. We took a flight from Columbus to another city to start driving with another company, and we've been with that company ever since, and it is lovely. I can't even. Let's get it. Get the fucking money. Lovely. I am so happy. Like, people always say, like, how do you feel? Like, what is it like being on the road? And honestly, y'all, it's so amazing. Like, if I can just give a quick review, I would say you sit down while you're driving. So when you are not sitting down, you want to kind of be active. So I'll try to like walk. I'll try to like, you know, when we go shower and stuff like that, it's all the moving around that's good for me. We kind of have it set up as a system. So like, we're team drivers. So when I drive, he tries to get some sleep, and when he drives, I try to get some sleep. But we do like to still be around each other. So for like the first hour or so or something like that, it'll just be us up front talking, both in the front seat, playing music or whatever we do, and then one of us will go to sleep, so that when it's our turn to get back on, we not so tired, and it's not like an argument about who has to drive. So we kind of worked out the system now, and I just love it here, y'all. It'd be such a good time. I love being on the road. I love the money. I love how everything has a deadline. I don't know why I like that, but I do. Like, I just feel like it pushes you, and not in the sense of where you're gonna drive like you're gonna be in an accident because you're so tired, but when it makes sense. Like, we're driving hard, we're making money, because of course the more miles, the more money. But yeah, so I just kind of got into trucking. So I feel like that's the general story of how I ended up becoming a trucker, because it wasn't meant to really be like that. I was just going on the road with him because COVID happened, and I got into it, and I was just like, this is it. I started loving it. I started loving everything that came with it. Like I said, I'm gonna include some videos of me parking and stuff like that, because I want y'all to kind of be able to see that. If y'all have any questions related to trucking, if y'all want to ask me anything before I do the Q&A, make sure y'all ask me y'all questions, trucking related questions, in the comments, because I do want to answer some more trucking questions, because I have like maybe 12, but I feel like it's gonna go so fast when I do the video. So make sure that y'all ask questions in the comments. Again, follow me on all my social media. I'll leave my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok. You know, I do a little TikTok and every now and then or whatever, but I'm gonna leave all of that down in the description box, and make sure y'all follow me, and I'll see y'all in my next video.